Hey guys, Rad Rob here from the Rad Turtles Wrestling Podcast. Before we get to today's program, I gotta have a little talk with you. Remember back in the day when even just a stiff breeze would get your soldier standing at attention? Yeah, I know as we get older, it doesn't happen as easily as it used to, but I may have something that will help you out. It's called Blue Chew. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know that they work. You can take it anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach, and since they're chewable, they will work up to twice as fast as the other pills. So you can be ready anytime it's time for your boy to go. This isn't just for guys who can't perform, it's for anybody who wants extra function to enhance their performance in the bedroom. I've tried it. Rad Wife can attest to that. Whenever I pop a Blue Chew, she knows it's go time. Most guys can talk a good game, but if you're one and done, Blue Chew can even help you follow through for round 2. Blue Chew is prescribed online and shipped straight to your door in a discreet package, so no in-person doctor's visit, no waiting in those lines at the pharmacy, and best of all, no more awkwardness. They're made in the USA, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships directly, they're cheaper than a pharmacy. Right now, we got a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free. That's right, your first shipment is free when you use our special promo code RAD. All you have to do is just pay $5 shipping and handling. Again, that's BLUEChew.com, promo code RAD to try it free. Blue Chew is the better, cheaper, faster choice, and we thank them for sponsoring the Rad Turtles Wrestling Podcast. So visit BlueChew.com to get it on. Welcome, everybody, to Rad Turtle Wrestling Podcast, a hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look at today's product in the world of professional wrestling. Now, without further ado, here are your hosts, Rob Francois and Jeff Johnson.
I keep moving to center, and you keep pulling it towards you. I'm
All
like,
right.
dude, share it.
You gotta
All
share
right.
the blanket, it'll get cold.
So we're going to start in about 1 second here. I'm just going to send out a live tweet to everybody. We're live. Anybody wants to join us? We are live. Come and join all the rowdy crew here. Copy, paste. Come on down. The price is right. Bing, bing, bing. All right. All right, let's do this. And somebody got YouTube up that just too, if they got any comments or whatever.
Yeah, I got it up.
Yeah, I got it up.
I got it up.
Awesome. Sweet. Sounds like a plan, Stan. I'll put mine up too, just in case. If I miss any comments, just throw it on in if anybody comes in. Because we're live. We're in charge here. Bingo. All right.
Live from New York.
We're live right from New York
Friday
here.
night.
All right. Everybody ready to roll?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. We are here for our first live stream. We got a bunch of great guests on the horn. You got Wrestling with Reality, Rad Turtles Wrestling Podcast. You got Effin' For Real right here. And you got the one and only, the icon, the man from Wisconsin that knows cheese better than anybody, Mr. Matthew Majeski here. Matthew, I said it right again, correct?
You got it again. You're
Oh, man, look at that. Two times. I love it.
I
man.
can't ever say it right, so at least you got it right.
Well, shit, the poor guy was on the show with us for an hour, and then you forgot who he was on your show, and you were talking about it. I said, man, Matthew's not going to join us anymore because of Rob.
Yeah, I
Yep,
felt
I did
bad. I felt bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My bad,
Rob-
Matthew.
Well, it's like we were talking about before Rob came on the air, Matthew, that Rob's very old, and he hasn't been taking his on it, So David Radigan's got a good supply of some stuff there. He's got the on it for him. So Alpha Brain or whatever the hell they call it these days. And we also got with us, we got the real gem, Jeff Miller, one of our other good guys here in our correspondence on Wrestling with Reality, the neighborhood friendly troublemaker that gets me heat with sponsors and shit. So it's okay. That's why I'm here to deal with it. But he's here. He's off of his school sabbatical for a couple weeks. He's pounding a glass of vodka next to me. It's not really water.
Nice.
So, yep. So for anybody that comes into the chat, since we're doing this live, please feel free. If you got any questions, you want to chime in here. It was an exciting night. And let me tell you, there was some sick spots here tonight, some sick matches that, I was really surprised to see. And I don't know. There was some shockers out there to me. So what was your guys' overall impression first? I'd kind of like to hear everybody. We'll start with Blake. Blake, what did you think of the card as a whole before we break it down a little bit?
Incredible show. Like I told you, I'm the host of Effing For Real, the MMA podcast, and there's no MMA fights this weekend, so I was a little bummed. I watched this show. I ain't even worried about missing MMA this weekend. Good Lord, that was incredible.
Yep. Very, very true. Matthew, what did you think of the show?
I think it was near perfect. It was amazing from beginning to end. I was not bored once. It was just great match after great match and some shocking surprises in there, and phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. Rob, are you gonna bring the mood down, or are you gonna continue on with the trend?
Yeah, I am. I actually fell asleep during the women's match, so
that was the worst match of the night.
Yeah.
And even that wasn't that bad.
Yeah. I woke up right when Shayna won, but I was in and out of consciousness during that match. But everything else to me was fantastic. And I'm sure when we get to the breakdown, I'll give you more thoughts of why I thought that match sucked. But overall, it was a great event. You
got it. Jeff, what'd you think, buddy?
Oh, I thought it was awesome, man. I thought it was a badass show from start to end. I know we'll break it down a little more. The UK title match started a little slow.
Oh my God, yeah.
But and then you can tell the crowd, but they really got into it as it went on. But man, it was physical. Man, it just everyone, there was at least one person in every match that really stood out, and I thought from top to bottom the entire card was great.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that as well. Mr. Miller, what did you think of the show? We were here live watching it together. So.
I love this pay-per-view or whatever you want to call it. It was really good. The women's match was my least favorite, but that's not to say it wasn't like a really terrible match. I'm just not. I would have preferred Io Shirai and Shayna Baszler against each other than four of them, but I understood why they did it. Don't understand the finish, but we'll get to that later. And then the final match, the finish, like so many near falls. Like I was pounding my fist, like screaming at the TV. And I was like marking out like crazy, screaming for Johnny to win.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. It was, my impression is the same as you guys. The women's match was a little slow to me, which we'll break all the matches down here in a second. Get into them. But man, I'm telling you, that last match was. I was like an 8-year-old kid marking out with it with him over here. It was one of the few times. Other than Ciampa, and
that was the last time we did it. Was Ciampa and Dream.
Ciampa and Dream, when they went at it, man, we were screaming up at the top of our lungs here. I'm glad my wife wasn't asleep yet, because she would have came out and slapped the shit out of me.
Way louder this time.
Yeah, we were banging. We scared the dogs on the thing, man. That's how much they had us going in there. I mean, these guys. Does Takeover ever not deliver?
No,
not that I can remember.
Nope, always delivers.
Yeah, I mean, so for anybody that's out there that thinks the WWE can't change, like, go ahead and look. They can change in a lot of their habits. And when you get a lot of the crustier old people out there that say all the time that there's no hope for it, wrestling's dead. I think when you see something like this, it kind of proves it a little bit wrong at times, because there's a lot of talent that's still out there, whether it's in the WWE, AEW, New Japan, what Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling. I mean, there's some talented guys and girls out there, and they really, really delivered. I liked the first match of the night that they started it off. We'll get going on the first match of the night. And I definitely really dug that they kicked off with the tag team match, War Raiders versus Ricochet and Aleister Black. And I think it was a question mark in a lot of people's minds. I think everybody kind of knew the War Raiders was going to go over because of the fact that these guys have been on the main roster on all the brands, and they got a WrestleMania match. I think it would have been an interesting thing if they would have won the belts, but I understand, of course, why they didn't. But man, this match was a hot start to the night. I'm going to hit Rob up first on this one. What did you think of this match, Rob, when watching the War Raiders versus Black and Ricochet?
I thought the War Raiders entrance was fantastic. I thought it was just as good as last takeovers, if not better, especially because it wasn't as long. I thought the match started a little bit slow. I thought the crowd wasn't into it. In fact, they seemed to be into something else that was going on in the crowd, because they kept chanting like "You deserve it." Just, I don't know, somebody got kicked out or something had happened on the crowd, and you can see everyone looking at it while the match is going on. I'm like, well, that's kind of shitty to the guys that are in the ring. But that's what you're going to get with this kind of crowd this time of year. Other than that, I thought the match was itself was fantastic. It was paced perfectly. Dude, everybody can go. and holy fuck, Hanson, dude.
He's so agile for a look.
Jumping off the top rope and doing a cannonball, like a front flip plancha, or whatever the fuck he did. Like
the swanton that he did.
The swanton.
Was it a swanton? Whatever you want to call it. It was fantastic. They're the future of this company as far as tag team wrestling is. They could come up to the main roster and just dominate anybody. The best part for me, I mean, we all pretty much knew who's going to win. The best part for me was the send off that they gave Ricochet and Aleister Black, and you could see Ricochet really get emotional. Even though he hadn't been there that long, but it's a big deal for him to have that kind of a match there and to be called to the main roster and get a chance to be at WrestleMania, which is what everybody in NXT is striving to do moving forward. But all in all, it was a great match. The right tag team won. And I'm excited to see what they do with Black and Ricochet after WrestleMania.
Yep. What did you think, Matthew?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of the War Raiders when they were War Machine before this, but I hadn't seen a lot. And last Takeover, they really opened my eyes. They were amazing, and they just kept it going. It was just another amazing match. Everything was phenomenal. I mean, the craziest spot of the whole night to me was Ricochet doing a 630 and missing. That was insane, landing on his back. I couldn't believe he did that. But yeah, I mean, I expected War Raiders to win. They did, but still, even expecting that outcome, it was a phenomenal match. I loved it. Was a great kickoff match. NXT does an amazing job of picking the right kickoff match. They do it every time. They pick such amazing kickoff matches. I don't know how they do it, but
it really makes it hard, like to start like with as good as they always started off, like you mentioned, and it really makes it a hard act to follow because man, when they set the pace like they did with this match and like they always do, it's like, what are you going to go from there? And you don't think they can get any better, and they do.
Well, it's smart to do it this way because they can get the crowd hot the way he's starting off with a great match like this, and that's why they do that.
Yep, absolutely.
Did you guys notice at the end that Ricochet was kind of lying down and a couple of the people outside the ring were checking on him?
No, I didn't.
For a minute. I didn't know if he got hurt at all or just stung a stinger or something, but hopefully he's fine for tomorrow, Sunday.
Yeah, I hope so, man, because I'm telling you, they're going to steal the show, I think, out there. That's a sleeper match to me, but we'll save WrestleMania till Sunday when we go over it because Lord knows we got about 12 or 14 hours of total WrestleMania between shows and watching everything, so we don't want to definitely hit on it too much, but I'm excited to see that for it. Now, Mr. Johnson, what did you think of this match here?
Before I break it down, you asked a really interesting question when we started. You asked, has there ever been a bad takeover? And we really can't think of one. When's the last time there was a bad tag team title match or a tag team match in general in NXT? It seems like they open the show, that they become kind of like the match of the year. It seems like when it comes to the end of the year, and these guys delivered the same thing. Like, the discussion you hear a lot is tag team wrestling dying? Can the WWE still put on good tag team matches? But every takeover we get one, and it's arguably the best match of the night every single time. And this one was no exception. Man, but the War Raiders are incredible because they can do anything. I mean, they can fly. They're strong. And I thought Mauro Ranallo made a great point talking about the mix-up of styles with the striking of Aleister Black and the high-flying of Ricochet, and then the strength and everything of the War Raiders. And these guys just mesh together so well. You can tell these guys have worked together a lot in the past. And just from beginning to end, man, I thought this match was great. Rob made a good point about, I was a little surprised the crowd. It did take them a bit to get into it. And I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought they would be hot from the get-go, but they were a little quiet. But once everybody started flying around doing their thing, they really jumped in, man. This match was the perfect opener.
No, absolutely. Now, Blake, what do you think of Hanson, man, and the moves that this guy can do for like a 350-pound gargantuan like him? Like, can you believe a big guy can do some of the stuff that he does, Blake?
No, he is incredible to be able to move like that. My favorite spot in the match, though, was he went flying in, and Ricochet actually caught that big bastard.
Yeah, I know.
And slammed him, and it was incredible. This whole match was incredible. And, honestly, up until that last sequence in the main event, this was my favorite match of the night. And I always like it when Ricochet comes out anyways because my 7-year-old is apparently a big fan of Ricochet, so every time he hears the music, he goes nuts. So I always enjoy seeing that too. But, man, this match was incredible. It's one of the best tag team matches I've seen in a long time. And, I mean, like we've been talking about, NXT always delivers a good tag team match, and this was spot on. One of the best I've seen.
Yep, absolutely, man. And when you look at the tag team division, like you guys had mentioned, it blows my mind. We were talking about this during the match. Me and Jeff were talking about it. It's weird to think they've had some great tag teams down there. Like you said, I never can think of a bad tag match that they've had at any of the Takeover shows. And you see some great acts that were just down there with AOP, and then you got Sanity, and they've just been fledgling on the main roster. Sanity's barely been seen. I know the AOP guys hurt. They buried them into the ground. Look at the War Raiders, like when they go up there. Think of a War Raiders in like a vintage Sanity or a vintage AOP in there, or even some of the other great tag teams that are up there, the shit that they could do. And it's like, now I'll ask Mr. Miller here, do you think that like if the War Raiders and guys like that go up there and do you think they're going to do the same thing with them that they're doing with the AOP, or do you think they might think that they could start making a little bit of a change with tag team wrestling?
Well, I seriously never expected the manager for AOP to piss himself during a match and completely ruin it. So now they'll be known as AOP.
Uh-huh. Oh, God.
I loved AOP. I mean, Paul Ellering was fantastic, and then they got rid of him. Some people say he couldn't do the touring. Others say he could, but he just fit well for them and really carried those guys well. Drake Maverick, he's like a tiny little guy, and it just does not fit. He tries. He's good on the mic, but he just doesn't fit. And with War Raiders, they could do phenomenal and really leave a statement, but it all depends on how Vince wants to book these guys. I mean, supposedly Vince is right now big on heavy machinery, and I mean, I love Dozer. I think he's funny, but they're not like a 5-star tag team like War Raiders are.
The War Raiders are on another level of what they can do with their gimmick, to me, and with just how well they work together as the team. Rowe's a smaller guy compared to Hanson, and Rowe's not a tiny guy either, man. And what Hanson can do for a big guy, that swanton off the top on the outside, I almost pissed myself.
I'm like, holy shit.
I didn't think it was going to do it. I thought he was going to do like a cross body, which I would have been cool with too, man. I'm 190 pounds, and I wouldn't even want to do it. And I'm like sitting over there. Here's a 350-pound guy hopping up and doing that. I was like, Jesus, man. And the more and more I watched them, they stole the show in War Games with me too when they were in there. I mean, that was phenomenal watching them in War Games and stuff. And then this, I'm like, the sky's the limit for these guys, man. And same thing with Aleister Black and Ricochet. Like you mentioned, they mentioned earlier, the send-off they got was really nice, man. And I was really glad to see that. So then we moved on to the second match of the night, which was Matt Riddle versus Velveteen Dream. Now, it started to me, I'll go start first. It started off a little bit slow to me. And that was kind of the trend for some of the matches tonight, I think. Mm-hmm. They paced themselves very slow in the beginning of them, and then they got going really hot on them. And then this match, once this match got going, most of it was Riddle using the submissions in there, showing his martial arts background and the MMA world that he was in, because he was a very top-level fighter. For anybody that doesn't know about Matt Riddle stuff, the guy was a legit fighter. He had 0 fights when he went into the UFC and the Ultimate Fighter, and almost got to the finals, and really only lost one time officially in the UFC. The other times was due to his weed smoking and for his ADD that he had and his marijuana card. So Matt Riddle is a legit badass and can go out there with anybody. The transition he's made into wrestling, along with the Velveteen Dream, with such short time training, is just phenomenal. And I was a little bummed in the beginning watching it. I'm like, this is slow. And then when they turned it up, holy crap, man! I was like, I love both of the guys anyways. I'm a huge Velveteen Dream mark. Like we were talking about before we got going here, that suplex that Riddle did. And I'll hit Blake next because he was talking about this too with me. I don't want to steal it. That was insane, man. And then the ending transition when he was in the submission hold and Dream got him and pinned him there was great, man. I really like this match. To me, I'm not, if I was going to give a Dave Meltzer 5-star rating here, I would give this a solid 4 to me. It was, I'm going to throw a prop out to my buddy Dave. So, right at Dave, but I thought this was a really good match, a really great tempo. I thought it told a really good story from the beginning to the end, and I think they built it correctly. And, man, Dream is over. I thought he was going to lose because I thought he was going up to the main roster, which, he still could. Who knows? But great match. Blake, what did you think of it, man?
I thought it was an incredible match. To be honest, I'm a fan of both these guys. I'm not a huge fan of either one of them. And this match changed my mind. It was incredible. Like you said, it started out slow, and once they turned it on, it was just balls to the wall. But the spot we're talking about is Velveteen Dream is standing on the outside of the ropes on the apron, and Matt Riddle stands on the middle rope and suplexes him from the apron into the inside. And it scared the crap out of me because the way Velveteen landed on his head, I thought he actually hurt himself.
Yeah.
But that spot was one of the best spots of the night to me. That was incredible to watch. And, I was kind of thinking that Riddle was going to win too. He was undefeated. And I thought that, Dream was either, like you said, going to go to the main roster, or he was going to drop the title. That way he could move up into, the NXT championship picture. And so that finish really threw me off whenever he, rolled backwards and got the pin. I was like, holy crap, did that really just happen? I mean, it was a great finish to the match all around. All the matches on this card were incredible. This was, I don't know. I'm speechless. It was great.
Yeah. What do you think, Turtles?
Yeah, I thought it was really good too. And it does kind of seem like it's the WWE style a little bit for matches that tend to go kind of long, where they kind of start off slow, kind of feeling each other out, let the crowd kind of see him for a bit and then slowly build up to those high spots. And, being a 3-hour show with 5 matches, most of the matches are going to be super long. So that's kind of a thing WWE does, it seems like. I thought Riddle was really impressive in this. And I actually put out a tweet during the show that Matt Riddle's going to make an amazing heel one day.
Yeah.
Because just like his mannerisms, and the crowd started turning on him, and he kind of played off of it a little bit. And I was watching him going, man, this guy's got a natural heel written all over him. Like he's going to be a huge star. But I was really impressed with him because he does have that MMA background. He does kind of implement it in his matches. But his professional wrestling style is excellent as well. And so, like, you see someone like a Shayna Baszler or a Ronda Rousey, they don't do a lot of the professional wrestling stuff. They kind of are more MMA with a little couple throws here and there. But Riddle is really crisp as a professional wrestler, though, and he's transitioned great into the role. And Velveteen Dream, he's the Velveteen Dream at this point. He's 23 years old, so like he's got another 15, 16 years at least left in this business. He's already a huge star. And man, he's going to be one of the top dogs in the company for a really, really long time.
Yeah, that's a given. That's totally a given there. What do you think, Matthew? What do you think of this match, man?
This is the one probably that most pleasantly surprised me. I'm not a huge Matt Riddle fan, actually, so far in NXT. I don't think his matches have been that great. But I love Velveteen Dream, so I was hoping for a really good match. And it was a great match. They had fantastic storytelling. Especially just Matt Riddle trying to get him in submission constantly and Dream squiggling out, and then at the end reversing it for the pin. That was great. I also marked out for the Hulk Hogan spot of Dream hulking up. That was hilarious and awesome just that he did that. It was just an awesome spot. I loved it. And then, it just built and built and built. It was an awesome match. And like I said, I was very pleasantly – I was hoping Dream would win. I thought they might give it to Riddle, but I was pleasantly surprised that they kept the title on Dream.
Awesome. What about you, Rad Rob? What do you think, buddy?
Actually, it's my favorite match of the night. I love the main event, and we'll get into it later, but I have a big problem with having so many freaking false finishes. I mean, I know it's great for the crowd and all that, but it's a little. I'm old. It's a little bit.
School.
Yeah, I'm old school, but Matt Riddle has shown with every match that he's getting better and better, and obviously we know how great Dream is. Dream's entrance was ridiculous.
That was incredible. I was
right?
gonna get up.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see what he does, at a WrestleMania next year. It's just ridiculous. This dude you want to talk about having a grasp on his gimmick. This guy knows his gimmick inside and out better than probably anybody else even knows their gimmicks too. Just how smart this kid is and how great his mind is for the business. And he's a fantastic performer. So I thought the two of them meshed very, very well together. The ending sequence was fantastic. I don't think I've ever seen a finish like that where you're almost ready to tap out and you're playing possum and then boom, he just snags him into a pin out of nowhere and Riddle was like, what the hell just happened? That was the perfect way to end that match, and it shows how great Dream is and it shows how close Riddle is to being on that next level. So I think it did both wrestlers a great service.
what did you made some great comments at the end of the match when it was over with. You yelled it out to me, and I didn't believe it at first, and then I saw what Jeff was saying as earlier here when he said, man, Riddle's going to make a great heel one day, because you were saying the exact same thing right at the end of the match.
He had a heel turn look in his face, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
It's like he wanted to, but he was like, nah, not yet. Because the way this match ended, they definitely left it off to continue this feud. Like, there's still a lot there. And if they want to turn Riddle for this, then the next time they have a match, with one being the straight babyface, one being the straight heel, it's going to work, and it's going to be pretty awesome.
Did the crowd flip on him like crazy in the beginning? He came out, he got a huge pop, and it was very mixed at a point. Dream is so over, like, when I'm looking at it. Like this was the guy they tried to book him as the heel in all these matches before, but he got so over with the crowd. Like, what do you think, Jeff, when you see Dream, like, in the Riddle, how they turned him? Do you think Riddle will be a better heel, a good guy? Like, what do you think? Where do you think they go with Riddle now?
Riddle has a fantastic heel look to him. Like, you could see in his face, like, when he was almost ready to turn heel on Velveteen, but then didn't, and they just, like, bumped fists as a sign of respect. And there was a lot of that tonight, like, showing respect. Like, you had that in the last match with the tag titles, and War Raiders bowing to Ricochet and Aleister Black, and you just had a lot of that tonight. And you got some teases for some possible heel turns coming, but nothing yet.
Yeah, the third match was the match next one there. I said wrap up that match, another tremendous match to get going. These guys, the sky's the limit for Dream and Riddle, War Raiders, Black, Ricochet, all these guys so far that we've seen. The third match was the one that I know we were looking forward to the most over here. Like, we were really looking forward to it. I'm a huge fan of Walter. I've been a huge fan of him, and I got to, when you guys interviewed PCO for Jeff and Rob, when you interviewed him, you talked about it for a second with him, but me and him got to talk about the match, like, in depth, off the air the one time, because I watched it multiple times when he came back. And I said, what's it like working with Walter? And he said, Walter works my style. And that's exactly what he said.
Yeah, he does.
The two big bosses beating the hell out of each other.
Right.
Yeah, he goes, Walter works my style. That's what he said to me. And then I was like, well, what's that mean? He goes, Walter works snug and fun.
Yeah, he does. Snug's putting it lightly.
Yeah, so I've been a big fan of Walter for a long time, and I knew that he could have gone to that limit there and been doing this forever. It's never been a matter with Walter that they didn't want him. It was a matter of him not wanting to go, because he's such a huge star over in England and Germany and Europe and everywhere all around there. I mean, I think he's 38 years old already?
No, he's only 31.
31, man, I thought he was 38 for some reason.
Yeah, I looked it up during the match because
it looks like it.
Yeah. But he's only 31. He's like, older, right? Younger than me? Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about Walter is his look. He's got I get it, like the whole thing. Not everybody's going to be built out of granite and stuff like that. He just doesn't have the look for me, but it fits him when he gets going, when you get a chance to learn him, when everybody sees like a little bit about Walter. And man, he is amazing, man. And then Pete Dunne, for a guy that's way smaller than him, to get in there. These guys put on a barn burner here, man. They really, really, really went at it. Matthew, what a cutie you got there.
He was scratching on my door. I had to let him in.
Oh, my God. What's your cat's name?
It's Logan.
Logan. What a good one there.
Is that for Wolverine?
Yeah.
There we go.
We also have another cat.
Here we go.
Geek right here.
You got it. It's all right. We all are. Matt, what'd you think of the Walter and Pete Dunne match, man? What was your opinion on it?
My favorite match of the night, actually. This is my favorite. I'm with Rob a little bit on the last match. I think he had one too many false finishes, although it was a great match. Walter's entrance is hype. I love that entrance.
Great.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Great.
This crowd didn't know him well, though, when he came out. And they were like, compared to an NXT UK crowd, they'd be like singing the whole song the way down the ring for him. And this crowd didn't really know that song that well.
They're going to know him now.
Yeah.
Right.
They'll start doing it soon. I got a feeling and I think this is one of those guys that Vince is gonna love. He just got that
absolutely.
Look. He's huge, and he's already got just one name, which Vince loves.
Good point.
Yeah, that's the big thing lately, changing everyone down to one name.
They're gonna change it to Wall in about a week.
Yeah. That's the only wall nobody's going to get over.
Walt.
Yeah, this match was brutal. It was phenomenal. It's just like so hard hitting. I loved every second of it. I kind of thought Walter would win. I thought he would put an end to Pete Dunne's streak. I was actually at the NXT in Chicago where Pete Dunne won against Tyler Bate, where he started the run. So it's kind of cool. And that was an amazing match. I don't think this match beat that match. That match was one of the best I've ever seen live. But this match was phenomenal. Like I said, my favorite of the night. It was just great from the beginning to end. I love how they kind of started a little bit slow, and Walter was just pounding them, and Pete Dunne was trying to do the finger submissions, and just everything was perfect.
Now, you love Pete Dunne, Mr. Miller. You love Pete Dunne. He's one of your favorites here. I wasn't sold on Pete Dunne for a long time until really about War Games when I really got into him a lot. Maybe it's because I didn't watch him enough like you do. What can you not say about how talented this kid is with Pete Dunne, man? And I'm like, as I want to hit on you next. What did you think of Pete Dunne's performance in this match?
Oh, Pete Dunne put up a hell of a fight. I mean, soon as Walter debuted at NXT UK Blackpool, I knew, okay, here comes Pete Dunne's replacement, so we can move up to main roster. And I was looking forward to this match so much because I knew it was going to be an all-out war. And the great thing they did with this match is they didn't let them physically make contact with each other right until that bell rang. And you don't see that a lot anymore on the main roster like WWE because the fans want the action right away. They don't like the build-up and appreciate the art. And I just love that. And another spot in this match when Walter did that power slam on Dunne from like 7 feet in the air.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Mm-hmm. This was kind of like the start, too, of the false, like kind of where you guys mentioned, where they're kicking out of their finishers over and over again because Pete Dunne hit his finisher on Walter. And I didn't think he was going to kick out of it then because I was like, I know they kick out of some or anything. I didn't know. I was like, man, maybe they were actually really going to keep Pete Dunne down there. And they were just getting Walter's name out there. I didn't see. I thought Walter would win right off the bat because they're making him getting him over. But I was like, oh, maybe they're flipping the script on us here. This was kind of the start of it there. I love Pete Dunne, what he does with the fingers and all that stuff. It's just simple little moves that he's doing. He likes when he's punching himself. I like where he's doing the simple things with the fingers, man. And Walter sells so good too for a big guy, a guy that definitely wrestles pretty snug out there. I love it. Blake, what did you think of what you're an MMA guy and you know about fighting and all the real combat stuff. What did you think about watching Walter and Pete Dunne go at it here in this match?
This match I was really surprised with. I've never seen Walter before, had no idea who he was until tonight. I've seen Pete Dunne. I know. I see you, Rob, shaking your head.
How do you not know who Walter is, dude? He has been everywhere for the last year and a half.
Because basically the only thing I watch is Raw and SmackDown.
All right, well, that's
a little bit of NXT, but not UK NXT.
Well, that'll do it.
But no, so I had heard you guys hype Walter up, and so I was looking forward to it. Of course, I knew who Pete Dunne is. He's incredible. Got one of the greatest nicknames in the business with the Bruiserweight. Mm-hmm. And so I was looking forward to this match. I didn't know what to really expect, though. But this match was brutal, and I loved it. Just the physicality of the entire match. I mean, it never stopped. It was physical from the start of it all the way to the end. And, like I said, not knowing who Walter was, I didn't think Pete Dunne was going to drop the title. But I know who Walter is now, and this dude's incredible, and he's freaking massive. He's huge. And so I may have to start watching NXT UK now just to see him. He gained a fan of me tonight for sure.
That's no doubt right there. That's a really good perception, Blake. For anybody who doesn't know Walter now, like I said, when he came out, I think the crowd – probably half and half kind of had an idea on who he was, but they definitely have an idea who he is now. Those hand slaps, his hands are bigger than Lesnar's, I think. And I'm like, I feel bad for anybody, even just doing the hand slap thing, that they do. I feel bad for anybody that, like, especially that kid that got his first match.
Yeah, I was going to say, when Walter had his debut on NXT UK and slapped the living hell out of that guy's chest, and he's like bleeding on his chest.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I watched that and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure I felt the chops, and I was in my living room. So the fact that I could feel them from here, just those were nasty.
They're about 3 hours from my house doing that show tonight. And I felt him from here for sure. I felt like the ground shaking when he was slapping him there a few times.
Yeah,
man, he's an imposing figure there. Jeff, I want to hear a different question here for you. I really dug the commentary in this match. I don't know if maybe you paid attention to. What did you think of the mix with Vic Joseph in there, who's on the NXT announcing roster?
I thought it was really good. I've liked Vic Joseph for a while. He brings a different kind of voice to the NXT UK side. I'm not a big fan of having two play-by-play guys run together, but I thought him and Mario did pretty well. Yeah, they did a really good job of explaining who Walter is, because there's a lot of people, and that was kind of the one thing I was afraid of with the main crowd, even though they're smart fans being WrestleMania weekend, that a lot of people aren't going to know who Walter is. And then, of course, people watching at home, especially here in America, are like, a lot of them are like Blake, where they don't know who Walter is. Yeah. But they did a great job of hyping him, did a great job of putting over every little thing he did, with also making Pete Dunne look strong as well. So the commentating was very, very good. I thought they showed a lot of emotion. They were very passionate. With Dunne's comeback, they were passionate with it as well. But it did kind of seem like they were more, I wouldn't say on the side of Walter, but they were really real headstrong on putting Walter over as this monster, this killing machine, the one that's going to end the 84-day reign of Pete Dunne. Because, I mean, he was going to, and he's the champion now. So, Blake made a great point about how he is going to be watching now because of this. That was what WWE was going for. Like, they want to get these new eyeballs on NXT UK and see somebody massive like Walter. So I thought, when it comes to that, they did a really good job. I thought the crowd, it's kind of like we said with the other matches too, it did take them a bit to get into it. And a lot of that kind of is the UK style as well. But also, the last time we saw a big UK title match on TakeOver, it was Pete Dunne and the first champion. What's his name?
Tyler Bates.
Tyler Bates, yeah. And it was fast paced. It was up and down. They went 90-0 for almost 30 minutes. We knew this was going to be a different style. This was going to be a different match with Walter being in there. So I was kind of hoping the crowd wouldn't be expecting the same thing they got last time, which became a match of the year. But they really delivered, and the physicality is what really put this match over the top. It was great. I really enjoyed it.
Now, Rob, you said this was your favorite match of the night, right?
The last match was mine, but I mean, this is right up there. I, unlike Blake, knew who Walter was. Walter.
I know now.
Let me chime in for 1 second here.
Yeah.
Like, Rob is your idol, okay? You need to start following in his footsteps a little bit better.
Yeah. I know. I'm so ashamed. I'm so ashamed. I will step my game up. I promise.
Step your game up, Rob. You need to step your mentorship of Blake up a little bit better here.
Exactly. I mean, I am the MMA guy, not the wrestling guy. I'm the MMA guy.
We're going to hold you accountable too, Rob. Sorry to chime in. Keep going, Rob.
Yeah. So anyway, Walter has been everywhere pretty much for the last year and a half. He's been evolved. He's in progress. He's been all over Europe. He's pretty much won every title there is, in the indie scene over in the UK. And he's a badass dude. You're right. He's a killing machine. If he's pushed well, man, he could be a monster heel when he ever gets up to the main roster. And Vince loves shit like that. So, Pete Dunne, say what you want. I mean, he held that title for, like Jeff said, 680 something days. That's hard to do in this day and age, especially with how often they have title changes. He really made that title mean something, even though to us as Americans, we don't get to see it all the time. So it may not mean a lot to us. But that's a big deal over in the UK to be, their representative. And he's fantastic. You're right. With all the submission moves he has, the finger stuff, working on body parts. I mean, it's just brutal. I mean, it's just hard to watch. And then, you're right. The chops with Walter, Jesus Christ, man. Yeah. I'm just like wincing with every single smack. He's got like frying pans for hands. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, seriously.
And I love the finish. The finish was really, really good. I mean, that dude coming off the top was like, he does a better splash than Tamina. who
by far.
for fuck's sake, her father was the goddamn Superfly who did it better than anybody else. You got this 300-pound dude just flying through the air. He went halfway across the ring, and she can't even fucking jump 10 feet. But anyway, I just had to throw it.
I don't know. She might outweigh him too. I don't know. I have no clue.
She might, but yeah, top to bottom, man. This match was fantastic. I thought the pacing was perfect for their style, like you guys mentioned. And it told a great story, and it's a really, really big deal for Walter to end the reign of Pete Dunne. Like, that's instantly going to put him over.
Yep. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think here to end this on this match? And anybody can chime in here who wants to. Is anybody kind of really like I was thinking here, man? I was thinking like in a year or so, once we get a little bit more exposure, who would want to see like a Walter versus Brock Lesnar type match, man? And like Walter comes out and answers the call of like Brock Lesnar. Like, what do you guys think about that?
I was thinking Walter versus Braun, but
that too,
because I'm not sure Brock's going to still be here. But either way, those two monsters, any of them would be great. I'm kind of hoping now that they want to get him a little more exposure, and they put him in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at Mania Sunday night.
Good idea.
Maybe you actually see him and Braun actually just kind of like bump into each other and turn around and just kind of face off for a minute. And then everybody says, okay, these two big bastards are here. We need to jump them, and breaks it up before they actually touch. And then you can build that one for later.
Good idea.
Yeah, that matchup is better than what they're doing right now with Braun Strowman and having him feud with those stupid losers on fucking Saturday Night Live.
Oh no!
God,
don't even get us started on that. We're gonna have to talk about that on Sunday. Rob's waiting to say he wants to chime in.
Hi, how's it going, guys? I have a question for you. I'd rather see Walter against the smaller guys. Like, I'd rather see him against Finn Balor or Seth Rollins. I want to keep that David versus Goliath feel. I think two big guys, even if you get two agile big guys in there, never usually bodes well for a great match. It's kind of boring.
No.
As we see with Brock against CM Punk and Daniel Bryan and Finn Balor and Seth Rollins and all that. So if Walter does, I'm sure he will come up to the main roster. I want to see him as a killing machine, but I want to see like the underdog try to go against him and try to take him down. That's just how I would book him.
I just want to see like the standoff between them more than anything, like with the big guy. I'd love to see them really just let Lesnar go on a complete reign of terror where he's almost unstoppable. And I know they tried to do it with Braun and they completely messed up with it. That's kind of how it's been now. But he hasn't been there enough to do anything with it. So I would just love to see him like just even get way more dastardly and heelish than he already is, and just let him just destroy everybody. And then it's like nobody else can step up to this guy. He's beating everybody. And then here you hit Walter's music, man, and he comes out and they just do like a face off. Like I like, man, that would be some. I could see that happening if Brock's in a couple years.
The visual alone, you're right, would be captivating. And maybe I would probably do it against Braun, maybe, or even Hanson if they ever split the War Raiders up. The two of them together would be fantastic.
What about him and Joe too? Like, imagine them doing like a Kurt Angle, like Joe type from Impact, where when Kurt came in and headbutted him there. Yeah. And like those dude, if they really did what they should do with Joe.
Joe did that a few weeks ago on Kurt. To reminisce for the old Impact.
Yeah. But they really need to let Joe be the Joe that he is and that he's been for his whole career, and just be that complete badass man that kicks everybody's ass that nobody can take out. And then, Joe's a believable guy. I know we're getting off on a tangent here. It's just where I see a guy like Walter coming in, and you just bring in this guy that's been just a brute freaking force, man. And then here's Joe or Brock or one of these guys, even a heel Braun, just destroying everybody. And then here's how you bring this guy out to the main roster. Kind of like how Finn got the Universal title right off the bat. You bring him in. He's a believable figure. He's great in the ring. He sells tremendously, just like Lesnar does. People shit on Lesnar. Lesnar's one of the best sellers in the business, hands down.
Yep. He'll prove it on Sunday, too.
Yep. And anybody who's listening to this and checking the show out, I implore you, when you watch him in his match against Rollins on Sunday, whether he's going to in the mood or not, Brock Lesnar, watch him and listen to what we're all saying here, because here's 6 guys here that know our stuff with wrestling, backwards and forwards. Watch Brock Lesnar sell. I don't think there's one guy on this chat right now that would disagree with what I'm saying on this, because I know most of us have talked about this a bunch of times. And watch Brock Lesnar sell. He's one of the best sellers in the business. Go back and watch Walter's match with Pete Dunne and watch how he sells for him too. That's a star right there. You look like a powerhouse, and when you got to sell, you sell like a champ. And that's what he did.
it puts over the baby face is so huge, especially a baby face that's smaller than you. And that's what makes guys like that so great, because we've seen the big guys that don't sell everything and just are immovable monsters. But when you get those big guys that make the small guys look good, that's how you make stars.
Yeah, because Pete Dunne's a tiny guy. He is not a big guy. I think he's 5'9" or 5'10". He's not your Finn Balor, jacked and shredded look. He's just not that. That's not him. But he does great for his size, and he's very undersized compared to Walter. And Walter's great.
He's built a lot like Daniel Bryan. They're both built very similar.
Yep, absolutely. I love the match. It was great. The next match I wasn't too keen on. I was actually doing a little work during it. There was a couple decent spots in it, so I was editing videos in the middle of part of it, because Bianca Belair is like a channel changer to me for whatever reason. I can't get into her. I never knew the whole like ring thing she does where she skips down to the ring, and it drove me crazy to see that she chews bubblegum the whole match. All I can think of her is that the parent inside of me. It's like, are you going to choke and die if you get hit wrong? Like, but that's just the parent in me, I'm like thinking that. I was like, I just wasn't into the match. Like, they really kind of handcuffed Kyrie and Io Shirai a little bit, in my opinion, from the spots that I saw. It wasn't bad by any means. Bianca took the submission there, so they've just buried her out now. She's not going to get a shot or go up, which means she's going to be on the main roster on Monday or Tuesday. So she's going to be one of the call-ups here coming up, I'm sure, here, but whatever. Matthew, what did you think of this match? Did you like this match? Did you dig it? What parts of it, what did you think of this overall?
Yeah, I'm with you. It was the most disappointing match of the night. It still wasn't bad. Like I said, it was a good match. I wasn't bored. But overall, that was the most shocking ending to me. I did not expect Baszler to win this match at all. She was like, out of the four, she would have been the last one that I would have picked tonight to win.
Yeah, a lot of polls I saw her not even being close to people saying that she was going to go home with the title again.
I was shocked that she ended up winning this match. My favorite spot of the match was probably I'm not a huge Bianca Belair fan either, but when she had Io Shirai and Kairi Sane on her shoulder, that was phenomenal. That was like, holy crap, this girl is strong.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of her either. She just hasn't clicked with me. I don't know. Maybe it's the same with you. I don't know. Just that something hasn't clicked with me with her. I love Kairi. I think she's awesome. I wish she would have won tonight, or Io. I do like Io as well. I don't know where they go from here. I don't know who challenges Shayna Baszler next. I mean, it's going to be, I don't know who they're going to build up, like Candice LeRae, Casey Catanzaro. Is Dakota Kai going to come back fast enough? I don't know. I have no clue where they go next. But it's a puzzling decision to have Shayna Baszler win. I understand they can't go with a ton of title changes, so they wanted to keep one on her. I think was one of the ones they wanted to keep. But I mean, it was a good match, but definitely probably the least interesting one of the night.
Who would you have had win this if it was up to you, Matthew?
I'm biased probably with Kairi because she's my favorite out of the four, but she has held the title once and she's better chasing it. So I would have had Io Shirai win actually, and then maybe have those two have a fight between them, maybe break up and then have them face off against each other.
Yep. Turtles, what do you think, buddy?
I thought the match was okay. There's a couple of points that Matthew made that I really want to touch on that I really liked as well. I thought there was two people that really stood out in this match. One for a very good reason, one for a not so good reason. I thought at the last takeover, Bianca Belair took a couple of good steps forward, but she took about 3 steps back tonight. And you guys, this statement might get a little heat, and that's okay. But we've seen her gimmick for the last 4 years, and her name is Sasha Banks. And so I think that's a reason that it's not clicking with everybody is because, we've seen the boss. We've seen this type of character already. I mean, she's not as good at it as Sasha Banks is. You asked Matthew also who he would have picked to win this. Going into this, I probably would have booked Shayna Baszler to win just because she has been that dominant champion. And whoever beats her eventually it's going to be a big deal, kind of like with Pete Dunne with him losing the title. But one person I was super, super impressed with was Io Shirai. I thought she had a lot of really good spots in this match. She was really crisp. She showed a lot of energy. She hit a really impressive, like a snap moonsault kind of towards the end of the match. That was it made me jump out of my chair. I thought it was pretty awesome spot. So she really moved up the ranks with me. I'd love to see her and Shayna eventually, but I thought her interaction with Kyrie were the best because they kind of teased it for a bit, but they were teaming up together and stuff, so they didn't really fight. But when they did that little bit at the end of the match, that was probably the highlight of the entire match. They were super impressive. So I became a big Io Shirai fan tonight.
Yeah, she's tremendous. I wish they would let her go a little bit more here. I know your thoughts on this because you'd love to talk about her. So I'll hit you on this.
I love Io Shirai.
Yeah, you love her. What you have this affinity and love for Bianca Belair too. What's your?
No, I do not.
About like how Rob loves Nia Jax, kind of the same thing.
Yes. What is it about Bianca Belair? And I want to say one thing before I get.
Try to give me heat.
Dude, let me tell you, I'm a heat magnet, so it's okay, man. I'm a heat magnet, like lightning heat lately, so it's okay, man. Like I spark it, so I'm going to give it right over to you now here for a second on this one. I think she's a beautiful woman. I think she's shitty in the ring. I think she's sloppy. She doesn't get it. She's strong as hell, like you guys mentioned, with her doing that double pickup there. She's very impressive on that note. She's a beautiful woman. The hair thing's unique and different. I think she's terrible in the ring. You could see it that it's not that she doesn't have the skills. I think she lacks the confidence in herself from what I can see. And she doesn't really know how to perform it to that level yet. I was going to go out on a limb and say on this one, I would have given it to Bianca Belair, surprisingly enough, even after saying all that, because I think they need a good heel to take over for Baszler, who needs to go up now, because SmackDown, they need to balance the divisions out. Shayna Baszler is 38 years old, and she is ready to go up. And she's another one like a Riddle, man, that's got right into it. Let Bianca run with it, see what she can do, give her that confidence by giving her the belt, making her an attraction, and then give the rub to an Io Shirai or somebody else coming up here, around like Survivor Series-ish, but that's what I would have done. What do you think of Bianca Belair? Why do you think she just doesn't get it with the crowd? She can't click in these matches, it seems. Her 2 big shots that she's had, she has not done very well in it. What would you think are the reasons for it?
I'll start with the positive with Bianca Belair. The hair whip thing, it's cool, but it gets old. I don't know how she gets away using that as a weapon all the time. I mean, okay, that's not really positive. But
it's part of her. It's her weapon.
I mean, her athleticism, no one can deny. She's incredibly strong. She's incredibly agile in that ring. But she doesn't have like a real big move set. And her gimmick is very stereotypical. And the whole undefeated thing, it's like, no, you lost. Get over yourself. And then the whole print on her tights with herself on it, I was like, wow.
You're not an old school guy. That goes back where they try to get the heat from Jake the Snake Roberts and Ravishing Rick Rude back in those days. Mm-hmm. So like Ravishing Rick Rude was a big character that used to wear people's face on their tights. So he had done a gimmick years back, and Jake's one of my favorites of all time. And, I just always will pop for Jake. But it was such a great feud that they had where they started doing this. Jake, what's his name? Ravishing Rick Rude had seen Jake's wife in the crowd, just to give you an idea behind why they do the tights in front of the newer fans. And he ended up seeing Jake's wife in the crowd. They didn't know it was Jake's wife, and it started a feud between them. So Rick Rude for months would put pictures of Jake's wife on his crotch and on his ass on his tights. And then he started a gimmick doing that for you guys who remember that, and he would roll with that. He would always put some compromising thing or things with, something that was a little graphic or whatever on his tights. So that's an old school thing that they used to do. That's kind of why she did it. So
well, in February, she did a really cool one that was for Black History Month and did a lot of historical African-American figures. But back to Bianca, like, I just don't click with her, and I don't know if it's my skin. She had the great spot there with the KOD, I think it's called, with the Shayna or Io Shirai and Karai Sane on her. And she had some other spots, but like I said, her moveset is very limited, and it just gets boring. And she doesn't do much in the ring besides like do taunts. I mean, there was the funny spot with her blowing a kiss to Kairi Sane, and Kyrie grabbing it and then throwing it to Shirai like a baseball, and then Shirai hitting him out of the ring and looking out like, oh, home run.
They play something up very unique in this, as you mentioned here. And I know it might be controversial to say this, but it's not in any way racist or anything like that. I want to make that point very clear right now to anybody that's going to listen to this on the podcast or the thing. I'm going to say this right before. My whole family is of color. My wife and all my children are from another ethnicity, so I'm not a racist by saying this. I just know how people draw things out, so I give that disclaimer really quick. The WWE, Gail Kim, as much as I hate to mention this with Gail Kim being right, because I strongly dislike her character a lot of times, is Gail Kim was very right when she talks about a lot of the prevalence of stereotypes, racism, and things like that in the business. And they very stereotypically, in my opinion, and I don't know if anybody thinks I might be wrong on this, and I respect your opinion if you do, I think the WWE tries to make her kind of portray this very stereotypical, kind of like sassy, grew up in the ghetto type character for her. And unfortunately, that doesn't resonate with a lot of the audience. That's not what people, see, or that doesn't resonate with them. And they're kind of playing this off a little bit with them. And I think that's one of the reasons why too. Does anybody else disagree? Can they see that? Do you guys agree? What do you guys think?
No, I completely agree 100%. I mean, her last name is Belair.
Yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was one of the hottest shows back in the 90s, but it was an African-American led cast. Mm-hmm. So, they're using a stereotype with that alone, I think. So I think you nailed it on the head. That's exactly what they're doing.
I just found it interesting. I just noticed as I was watching her character and as we were kind of talking about some of the stuff with her, it was just something I noticed about it. And I think if they tweaked her character a little bit, and I think it could really help her resonate with the audience, either as a bigger heel or as a babyface maybe down the road in some way, shape, or form. Because it's like they kind of worry about booing her because of kind of like how society is now. Like they don't want it to come across a certain way and, really sensitive society that we got nowadays. That's just something I see. It was just a weird perception I had as somebody that really hasn't watched her too much, and the few times I have, this is what I've kind of grabbed from her. She has a very unique look. She's a beautiful woman, and you definitely can see she's athletic, and she's got a hell of a look that she can have. I just think they really need to fine tune this character of hers and tweak it up a little bit before she gets lost and she's a future endeavored in a short period of time, because I think she's losing her confidence too as she goes, and you can see it in her in-ring work. Would anybody agree with that or disagree?
Yeah, I think I agree with that as well. I kind of agree with what the guy said earlier, that her last match at Takeover, she showed some improvement, and then this one, she took stuff back. It just, I agree with that completely. Mm-hmm. It just, I was impressed with her last one-on-one versus Baszler. I actually thought that was a pretty good match for her. It's one of my more favorite matches I've seen her in. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I do agree also with the statement of maybe she isn't clicking because she seems like a Boss Jr., a Sasha Jr. And Sasha pulls it off great when they let her do it. And especially back in NXT when she was really the boss.
She was fantastic as the boss in NXT. That heel, making Izzy cry, I will never forget. Takeover Brooklyn. But yeah, I think they need to, like you said, I think they tweak her character, make her a little bit more different, stand out a little bit more from that than, like I said, Sasha Jr. And I think where they could have gone with the Io Shirai is if they had her win, have her do a heel turn on Kyrie, and have those two go at it, and that would be a money feud.
Yeah,
they're setting that up. You can tell they're laying the pieces. Plus, they've got house shows. They've been fighting each other.
I can't see Kyrie as the heel.
No,
Io would definitely
be Io would be the heel.
Yeah, there's no way I can see Kyrie as it with that Pirate Princess gimmick.
She's a total face.
And I'm just gonna say too, I think Kyrie Sane is phenomenal. She's awesome, man. She's great. I hate the stupid Pirate Princess gimmick. I think it's terrible. It drives me crazy. It's so corny and cheesy. I want to go back and watch Duke the Dumpster Drozy and TL Hopper when I see that stuff. That's just me. What did you think, Rob? Wrapping up on this match. I know you said you took a little snoozy during this one, but what did you think from what you saw?
It's not I'm going to paraphrase from Steve Austin. It ain't a black thing. It ain't a white thing. It's a she sucks ass in the ring thing. Bianca is talented physically, yes. She's a great-looking woman, yes. She's strong as shit. She's a fantastic athlete, but she does not get it. She does not understand the psychology of professional wrestling.
Yep.
Hopefully, they can drill that into her. Or you're right. I think it's going to be a short-lived career for her. There's a lot of athletes that have come into wrestling that just can't transition to to be a fantastic wrestler. Shayna Baszler is, to me, and you could call me wrong, I think she has the greatest gimmick in wrestling right now. I think if you put her on the main roster, as much as I love Charlotte for her athletic ability and just her bloodline, I think Shayna's the best in the ring right now, hands down.
She's great.
She's fantastic. She reminds me of like a female Kurt Angle, just of how quickly she's adapted to wrestling from MMA.
She's only been doing it like 2 years, right? Maybe 3.
Maybe even less. She, to me, the match was boring. You're right. I don't get the pirate thing either. I never have. It's like I'm watching fucking Final Fantasy or whatever in the ring. It's like, but she's a hell of an athlete and she's a great wrestler. I just don't understand the gimmick. I don't understand the whole Japanese culture to me. But shout out to everybody in Japan, though. By the way, we love you guys.
You guys do have a lot of viewership in Japan, so you might want to say,
right. So I don't want to piss anybody off there. I don't get her gimmick. But I actually picked Shirai to win, and I thought this was her time. I thought they've been building her up long enough. I think she was going to be the successor, and she did great from what I saw. I didn't see much, but
just a little bit.
Yeah, what I did see in between, waking up myself up and all that, I thought she was great. So I'm excited to see what they do with Shayna. I don't think she can stay down there too much longer.
Yeah,
especially if Ronda may take some time off. I think Shayna will be the right person to move up to Raw or SmackDown and really set the women's division on fire. Because she can go, man. She can go with anybody.
I think she's going to be pulling double duty here for a little bit till she drops the belt, maybe over the next few months or whatever. But I think she's going up this week. But that'll be my last question of the night on NXT. I'll save it for that for everybody. Last match is here, and man, this was match of the year in my opinion so far. Like
I said that before this even. Like,
it started once again. It just started slow for a lot of people. Man. It really started slow, and I was sitting there after about a couple minutes, and I was like, "Man, maybe they're not going to let these guys go." And then I didn't even want to think that anymore because the other times I thought it tonight, they let it go. It was smart. They paced themselves. Holy crap, man! This was a match like it was for me with Ciampa and Dream, where I said earlier I was on the edge of my seat like a little kid, pounding on it. Especially with as much as I don't like all the false finishes too, when they hit their finishers and they keep kicking out and all that crazy stuff, it gets to me too. It just was so cool in this match for whatever reason because it was like it just meshed for whatever reason. Here's a guy that overcame all odds with Johnny Gargano, and man, I just have so much respect for both of these guys and the talent that they have. Like that match was like a nail biter for me, man. Match of the year I've seen this year. It's way better than any shit from the fucking Tokyo Dome Meltzer. Okada and Takahana, whatever the hell his name is, Takahana and Okada, they have great matches too. And, what's that guy's name? AEW, Omega, sorry. Omega. Yeah, sorry, I forgot Omega.
Who's that one guy that's probably the most famous wrestler in the world right now?
Yeah, I know. The guy's making like $8 million a year because he's that hot of a commodity. In my mind, I'm on wrestling overload already with all the podcasts we've all done this week and everything. I just forgot Kenny Omega's name there. Lord help me. The marks are going to come out and take me out, man. And I was like,
big shout out to Kushida for signing with NXT. So
yeah,
that was cool.
I was gonna add that as an asterisk in my notes.
Hi, Logan. I see Logan's on the stream here. How's it going, buddy?
What's up, Logan?
How's it going, bud? Hope all is good. How's school going, man? Let me know. Make sure you're doing good in school. That's what I want to hear. Straight A's, hopefully. But yeah, this was awesome, man. And it was a really fun match, and I just loved it, man. I really thought it was great. Nothing but props for these guys. And Turtles, I'll hit you up first on this one, and then I'll go to Blake. I really want to get everybody's thoughts on this one a lot. That's the way I love about NXT. We can do the show in an hour, a little over an hour, and everybody gets to talk on it because it's not 19 matches in 8 hours there.
Right.
Morgan, I'm glad you're doing good in school, buddy. Keep up the good work, man. Summer's coming.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, man.
So I want to.
I want to hear Roma Turtle's opinion on this because I know you love this.
I did. This match was incredible, and I'm a huge fan of both guys. I want to jump to the end of the match though, because I have a little different take than everybody else. Maybe it's because I am the younger viewer, so I saw it a little bit differently when it came to the false finishes and everything. You know, when you take a match like The Rock and Cena had a couple years ago, where they both kicked out of 8 of each other's finishers, yeah, it was an overkill. But I thought this was different because it was only Johnny Gargano kicking out of him. Like Adam Cole, you know, the 2 times he was in the Gargano escape, he tapped out. You know, he did kick out of the springboard DDT, but that's really the only thing he kicked out of. But Johnny Gargano was showing the heart of a baby face, of a white meat baby face, that nothing was going to keep him down. He's been fighting for 3 years to get this title. It didn't matter if the entire locker room came out and attacked him. There was no way he was losing this match. And I thought it told a great story with that because with each pinfall attempt, you thought, okay, well, he didn't do it again. He failed again. This is where it's coming. But he kept kicking out, kept fighting back. And the timing of the Undisputed Era coming out was perfect. And then doing the false finish with the Red Dragon's finisher. And but the way I saw it, it made me it ended the story the way it was supposed to end, because Johnny Gargano went against all the odds, every odd that's went against him for the last 3 years, between his best friend turning on him, the entire Undisputed Era going against him. But he finally found a way to get the job done. And I just thought it was perfect storytelling, perfect booking, and just hats off. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. What did you think, Blake?
Man, I'm pretty sure I came really close to a heart attack in this match. This match was incredible, and these two are 2 of the best, not just in NXT, in the business period. They had such great chemistry. Man, this match was so back and forth at the beginning, and then all of a sudden, I mean, they really made you think Adam Cole was going to win this. After Gargano took out the Undisputed Era, got back in the ring, took a super kick to the front and to the back of the head, I was like, okay, this is it. This is how they're going to screw Gargano over, and this is going to lead into a bigger feud. And I was jumping up screaming when he kicked out of this one. I was like, holy crap, I can't believe he actually just kicked out of this. This is so incredible. And then for Gargano to lock into Gargano escape and actually get him to tap in, one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life. And I'm so happy Gargano got the win. I am a big Adam Cole fan, so I kind of thought they were going to put it on him, and I was going to be happy with that. But congrats to Gargano. He deserves it, man. He's worked his ass off to get to this point, and I'm glad to see that belt around his waist. And it didn't hurt either getting to see, you know, a springboard Canadian destroyer either. That was pretty awesome.
Right.
So
Yeah.
That's an insane move, man.
it is.
Insane. What'd you think, Matthew?
I will say I kind of agree with I like the opinion of how, you know, Johnny was the only one kicking out. I didn't really think about that till just when he said it, actually. Yeah, I thought the match was over 3 times. They fooled me 3 times when I thought Adam Cole was going to win it. When they did the Red Dragon finish, the Canadian Destroyer, and the final last shot that Adam Cole did. I was kind of hoping Adam Cole would win. I'm a bigger Adam Cole fan than Johnny Gargano, but I like them both a lot. It was a great match. There's no denying it. I think 1 or 2, maybe too many false finishes, but I can definitely see where they're going. They wanted to make it a crazy, just insane last match. That's Johnny overcoming every single odd that he could. So yeah, it was a great match. Probably, I mean, it's, you know, they're right with the tag team matches, the second favorite. I like the Walter Pete Dunne match a little bit better than that. Was, like I said, that was my favorite, but this was right up there. It was great.
Awesome. Good, definitely great perspectives on that too, man. I couldn't agree anymore. What did you think, Mr. Red Rob? And then I'll hit Mr. Miller last.
This is why I love Turtles so much, because whenever I come out with a point, he always makes me change my mind. He is so good at what he does. And no, I'm serious. He's so good about breaking things down and seeing things from a different perspective that I didn't see, because I'm usually one-sided and I'm tunnel vision. And he always makes me come around. He's right. This match, even though there was a shit ton of false finishes, this match was booked perfectly. Especially in telling the whole story of Johnny Gargano over the last year and a half, really. You know, I did pick him to win only because of the fact that he was supposed to start that program with Ciampa. And I think he was finally going to get his win over Ciampa after all the times he got screwed over. So that, to me, I mean, they almost fooled me. I really thought Cole could win this match the way it played out. But going into it, I was about 95% sure that Johnny Wrestling was going to win. But that being said, man, these two are arguably the best in wrestling right now. I love Ricochet and Aleister Black, but I think the sheer charisma that both these guys have is off the charts. And Johnny is the absolute perfect underdog. And I think maybe he got a little bit too screwed over of last year and a half. Like, it's a little freaking ridiculous. Like, you're like, all right, this is his time. And then, shit. Oh, wait, no. This is fuck. No, wait, he's really going to get him this time. And no, like, he just kept losing and losing and losing. But I think it's great. It was his time to shine. Jeff was right about the Undisputed Era coming in at the end of the match. That was a fantastic addition. Kind of reminded me of the old, the NWO and stuff, just trying to screw everybody over. It was so good. And to see Johnny celebrate with his fans at the end of the match, or with his family at the end of the match, I got a little emotional seeing that. Like, just that was a really, really cool thing for them to do and a great moment. And then when Ciampa came out at the end, I'm like, I kind of had a feeling that something was going to happen. Because it's usually what, when Takeoff goes off the air, somebody's going to show up from behind the curtain. And the fact that it was Gargano, or it was Ciampa, man, that was just really, really cool. And it was awesome to see them share a moment, because this is the worst time of year to get hurt. So it really, really sucks that he had to miss this match. But I like seeing them celebrate together. I think it was a great way to end the show. The crowd was hot for it. I mean, just seeing people's reactions in the crowd for every false finish, it's probably cooler when you're there than watching it on TV. On TV, like, you're a little bit on the edge of your seat, but like, there's nothing like seeing that kind of intensity live. So watching the fans get into it like they did, I could understand why they booked the match the way they did. But all in all, it wasn't my favorite match tonight, but it was my second favorite match, and I'm really looking forward to see what they do with Johnny going forward as a champion. I hope he keeps the belt for a while, at least until Ciampa comes back.
Man, I couldn't agree with everything you guys have said. Is so spot on for everybody right now, man. Really great perspectives. Like, couldn't even agree anymore. I'll let you close it out, since Gargano's your boy. You love Gargano.
I used to not be that big on him, but the more I get to know about him, I absolutely love him. I was marking out for the Iron Man outfit when he walked out.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
The reason why he likes Johnny Gargano so much is because he thinks he has the best abs in the business, even above Finn Balor. So
Shawn Michaels disagrees, though.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels disagrees. Dave Meltzer, thinks that Dave Meltzer probably doesn't think that, but I tell you, he don't let him lie to you over here. It's because he's got the best abs in the business. He sends me text messages every time Johnny's on when I'm not watching with him, and he's like, "Man, his abs, he's got like an 8-pack going today." So
Johnny 12-pack. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. He tweeted me multiple times, not just once, about Balor's abs before. He's like, "Holy shit, this guy's shredded."
Hey, let's not forget Johnny Impact. I think he's got the best abs in the business right now.
Jesus, no, I don't know. Let's move on from the Meltzer conversation.
You started it.
My joke.
I'd like to point out one more thing about this match real quick.
You got it, buddy.
When the match started, I would say the crowd was about 70-30 in favor of Adam Cole. They were going crazy for him. But just the storytelling, the heart, the passion, the fighting back that Johnny did, that entire crowd was behind Johnny Gargano by the time that match ended.
And you didn't think he'd be a heel, or you thought he'd be a heel this match?
I thought he would be a heel in this, because I thought Adam Cole would get such a positive reaction.
Yeah.
But they stuck to their guns. Johnny he's the best wrestler in the world right now. And he proved it by not just being good in the ring, but he turned this entire WrestleMania crowd around to cheering him, and that was awesome. That was awesome to see.
Yeah, we watched the watch along this week with Austin and Hart, and it just came out. It's coming out tomorrow for all of our listeners on Wrestling with Reality and Rad Turtles. It's going to be double posted tomorrow. So we just watched that match. And one of the coolest things about that match is that we focused on in the watch along is the double turn. How each of these characters were so good that they were able to switch the crowd so good. And it was so natural how they did it, and they kind of like they acted on the fly, because everybody knows that Cole's going to be a guy who gets cheered. They just love him. Fans, he resonates whatever with him. Gargano's always, like you guys all mentioned, he's the ultimate baby face, the ultimate underdog. And I didn't get it for a long time because Cole comes across in his character as this like smarky, cocky jerk, and all this stuff. He'll do anything he can to get by and to cheat, and that he's just a hot dog and, a playboy, whatever it is, you want to think of him. And I said to him during the match, I go, I don't get, it's so weird. Like, they love him, and he just plays this like horrible fucking shitty guy, man, and all these bad things about him. And I was like, that's why they love him. And I got it like clicked in my head at that moment, like about that, because I'm like, well, that's why they love him, because that's society today. Yeah. But man, it's something else with these guys here, like just really talented. What did you think, brother?
Okay, now I'll get back to the match. This whole match was just a beautiful wrestling story. Johnny Gargano comes out, ultimate underdog, like we all say, and he gets in the ring, and like he's getting booed as he's coming to the ring. And when Adam Cole comes out, he's getting like cheered. And then once when they're in the ring, they're still cheering for Adam Cole. I'm like, damn. Like, even when Adam Cole's a heel, these people are like cheering the living hell out of him. So it's like he's really the underdog in this. And they were so evenly matched throughout the whole match. And then once Adam Cole got that pinfall, that's when it started being do or die for Johnny Gargano. And he started bleeding at that point too. And that's when Johnny Wrestling really takes on his whole gimmick, like that name he lives up to. And he's just unbelievable. He can be like near death, or like he looks like he's like dazed out of his mind. And then he'll get up out of nowhere and just kick Cole. And it's like, holy shit. And the finish was incredible. I know, like like Rob was saying earlier, like sometimes too many near falls can really ruin the story in the ring because we don't get great storytelling. But that's what's so fantastic about Ciampa, Gargano, Black, Ricochet. Yeah. They tell fantastic stories in that ring, and Gargano is one of the best in the ring. And the way they did this story with Gargano, with all the near falls, like I was saying, yeah, he was the only one getting the near falls. And every time, like, he would almost get pinned, nope, kick out. And then they sent the Undisputed Era. I'm like, no, please don't fucking ruin this match by sending them out. But then he, like, took them out.
Yeah, don't forget the count out, too.
Yeah, then there was the count out where Cole did the powerbomb on him or whatever.
Yeah, that didn't break the table.
It didn't break the table.
God, yeah.
Like, holy shit. And then Gargano like jumps in the ring. I'm like, what the hell? And then and when we got to like near the end with all the near falls, it just was incredible. I'm like pounding on John's couch, like, tap, you son of a... And I love Adam Cole, but I was like rooting for Johnny, like, to start from like as soon as this match was announced, because he's the ultimate underdog, and I just love Johnny Gargano. He's a phenomenal person in the ring, but outside the ring, he's so dedicated to his fans. I mean, he was in Disney World with Candace at one point, and he said for fans to come and meet him, and he hung out with some fans and took pictures. You don't get wrestlers like that who are so interactive like that. He really loves this business. Yeah. And I just love the guy more and more. I get to know him. He's a big geek like myself, and I was just marking out with the whole Iron Man outfit tonight. But that finish was incredible. And then when he finally got the 1, 2, 3 and Cole tapped, I was like, yes. Mm-hmm. And then like he was like with his family out there and out with the fans, getting the pictures and just celebrating. And I knew Candace was coming out at some point because she's always there with him. And that was amazing. And then when Ciampa came out when he was on the ramp, I'm like, oh my God, Ciampa's here! I'm like, I'm a big Ciampa mark, and I was so freaking happy. And like, oh, they're all hugging. I'm like, oh, kayfabe dead. What about that freaking bump that freaking Cole did on Gargano, where I thought he freaking busted his neck on the apron?
Yeah. He had to have had a stinger from that, man.
He was rubbing his neck after that.
Dude, that was cringeworthy, man.
Oh, my God.
That was the one part. That's where it's like, you gotta think a little bit before. I mean, look at Ciampa; he's out with a neck injury, man. So it's like, and his career very well could be over from that. That's a very hard to recover from surgery. And it's like you do that again, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, the announcers sold it pretty well too. They were like, you know, they're like, oh my god, like, you know, like it was real. They saw how he landed. They were legit concerned for him. You could tell. Yeah, like that he landed really, really hard there.
Mm-hmm. So that was NXT Takeover. Does anybody have any final thoughts on Takeover tonight?
First of all, I want to give a shout out to Polyester, who's in chat right now, the Evil Taylor.
King Imbecile.
Yeah. He I told him I'm not paying him to be here, so if he expects any supplemental income from this appearance, he's not going to get it.
I just clicked off the YouTube, and Polly says, "How many imbeciles can one live chat?"
But all in all, you know, I thought this event was fantastic. It's WrestleMania weekend. It delivered for sure, just like it does every single time. There's never been a bad takeover. I'd put this up there, you know, short of the women's match. I'd put this right up there with the best of them. And you know, I'm excited for the future of NXT. I'm scared to be AEW right now. As talented as they are, I'm telling you, man, they're not gonna be able to top what NXT is doing right now. I think the only one, and to be honest, and not to blow smoke up their ass because they're friends of ours, but I think you know, this not to get sidetracked, but this ROH, New Japan G1 Supercard is going to be fantastic, and it's going to be right up there with NXT. It's such a good time to be a wrestling fan right now. There are just so many different options for us to watch. There's so much content around, you know. There's something for everybody, as I said in our show last week. And it's just, you know, this is just another example of me being excited for the future of the WWE after Vince is gone. You know, hopefully Triple H takes us in the same direction. And you know, the sky's the limit, man, and they'll be able to compete with anybody, and people actually come back and start watching it again. So this whole show for me was just made me proud to be a wrestling fan, quite honestly.
Yeah, these guys can go, man. Anybody else have any final thoughts on NXT Takeover New York, Jeff?
With me, I always love the takeovers. I mean, I started getting John watching them with me because I'm like, dude, these are better than the main roster events that we usually watch. Yeah, it's just. Like, I remember last year watching NXT New Orleans, Takeover New Orleans, and then WrestleMania the next day. And the pacing at WrestleMania in the matches is so much slower compared to what you get at NXT. And I just enjoy that rawness more, and you get better storytelling in the ring. And I always prefer NXT Takeover over Mania usually because it just has a better card in the matches. I mean, tonight I would have booked Shayna versus Io Shirai one-on-one, but that didn't happen. I mean, I think that would have been phenomenal.
Yep.
But I absolutely love NXT. I mean, it's hard to watch the main roster product, but NXT gets great hope. I mean, right now you're getting at the end of like some of the best talent. Well, the best talent, in my opinion, they've had the best group of talent they've had in NXT yet with Ricochet, Aleister Black, Cole, Undisputed Era. And then you've got these other guys behind, and you're like, oh no, I don't know how these guys are going to step up. And like, I mean, you got Street Profits. They've got a cool gimmick, but I'm not a fan of Angelo Dawkins. Like, he just average wrestler to me. I mean, Montez Ford, he's phenomenal, but after like War Raiders, I think War Raiders are going to have a very dominant reign for probably a year or so until someone can defeat them, and I don't know who right now.
Now, you know what's cool about NXT? I've never seen him so excited when he talks about it.
I love NXT.
No shit, right?
Like he's a very quiet guy for anybody that doesn't know him like I do, because I've known him for a long time. He's a very quiet, mellow guy all the time. Like that's just how he is. He doesn't really show his excitement. I've never seen him this excited when he talks about NXT, unless there was like 2-for-1 VIP dances at the strip club. I think I've heard of him get even more excited about it, man. So they have to be doing something right, man, when it comes to that, because that's the only other time I've ever seen him get that ramped up here.
And I didn't get to talk much about Io Shirai earlier, but I love Io Shirai. Her moonsault she does is the most majestic moonsault I ever seen. And I can't wait for her and Insane to go one-on-one because that's going to be incredible. I mean, we thought Sasha and Bailey was amazing in NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Those two are going to put on a clinic.
Now let's wrap this episode in this awesome show and this awesome takeover show up with. I want one last question to everybody here. Give me a couple of names now that this takeover's happened here. Give me a couple of names, you know, who you think is going to be moving up to the main roster between this next week on Raw and SmackDown and, you know, the next week with the Superstar Shakeup. Give me a couple of names who you think is going to be moving up from NXT.
Well,
Good, Blake.
I was going to say, well, I think it's, you know, obvious that Ricochet and Black are moving up. I kind of think that the reason they had them, you know, not only lose tonight, but also lose to Dash and Dawson on Monday Night Raw, I'm hoping they're going to put them over Sunday night and let them win the SmackDown titles. As for that, I mean, you never know. I mean, it's going to be a shakeup, and I think they're going to bring up people that you don't expect just as that shocker value because we don't, you know, get that very often on the main roster anymore. So, you know, besides the obvious two of Ricochet and Black, I mean, it could be anybody.
Okay. What do you think, Turtles?
You know, I really don't see them bringing up a whole lot of people because we've had a pretty big influx of NXT talent lately that they're doing absolutely nothing with. And right, I see obviously Black and Ricochet, like Blake said. I could see them bringing up Shirai and Insane to kind of boost the women's tag team division a little bit.
They need to, yes.
And you know they're both really exciting, so I could see them being brought up. I think Lars Sullivan's going to show up in the next couple of days, so he's going to be kind of considered a call up at that point. Besides that, I think that's really about it. I think NXT, and I think Jeff kind of nailed it on the head here, that they need that upper talent that they have right now because after that, there's not a whole lot. Because you know you got the Undisputed Era and Gargano, you got Dream and Riddle for the singles, and then that's about it for the most part. After that, it's kind of, especially Ricochet and Black leaving. So you need those top four to kind of run that singles division. If you bring any of those guys up, then NXT is going to be lacking a little bit.
Now, what about you, Matthew? What do you think, buddy?
So before the women's match started, I was 100% positive Shayna Baszler was moving up. And now I'm not.
Yep.
So was I.
Me too.
I mean, she's got those two goons with her, and oh god, I can't stand
she
her.
loses it after she moves up, which happens occasionally to NXT talent.
That's what I would say in the end.
Yeah, and then, yeah, it's. I think that's. I do like the idea of Io and Kairi moving up as a team, but I don't know. I'd like to see. I want to see Kairi and Io fight on NXT still, so I kind of hoping they don't do that yet. And then yeah, obviously Aleister Black and Ricochet are the main ones. I don't think really anybody else. I think they've moved enough people up recently that they don't need to take too many more from NXT. But I thought my 100% was Shayna Baszler. I still think it's probably like a good 75% that they'll move her up. But yeah, she's my one that I would say is probably the one they need to move up the quickest.
Cool. What about you, Rob?
You know, Shayna could show up Monday for all we know, and you know they could just say she has no more. You know, she's beating everybody down in NXT. She has nothing else to prove, and just leaves the belt there, and they'll have a tournament for her going up, kind of like what Asuka did. I could see Shayna going to the main roster without losing it, just to keep her that dominant. You know what I mean? Other than that, I think Dream probably has one more takeover left in him. I think he's too. It'd be very detrimental to NXT if they lose Dream right now, even though they have all the other great guys and Gargano and Ciampa and you know the Undisputed Era and all that. I think Dream is their moneymaker. You know, and I think eventually he's going to be the NXT champion before the year's out. I don't see Dream coming up on the roster until next year. But like these guys said, you know, they're like Matthew said, there's no reason to really bring anybody up since they already have. I think one person, maybe two at the most. But with the shakeup coming, I think you'll see more then than you will typically for the Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania, especially since they announced it's going to be the week after. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the shakeup. But right now, they have the best crop of talent that they've ever had. like Jeff said. So
Yep.
I'm excited for the future. But to me, I think Shayna's probably the next one to come up at some point.
Gotcha. What do you think?
Before this match, I was before the women's title match, I was agreeing with everyone with Shayna because she's done everything she can in NXT. I mean, she's beat Bianca, she's beat Kyrie. She hasn't really beat Shirai yet one-on-one, and I think that's what we're going to be headed towards. But after that, I think Bianca might be called up because she's had 2 title match losses in a row. Not really much more you can do with her. She can feud with someone that'll derail her from being in the title picture, but she's not really doing much now after that. I mean, I think they're getting ready to do Candice a push in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anybody else you think might go up?
I agree. Ricochet and Black. I mean,
That's a given.
That's a given because they had the whole standoff tonight in the ring. But there's one person we haven't mentioned at all, we haven't seen in a while, that Matt Riddle took care of, but I think he's probably going to get called up, is the knockout artist, Cassius Ohno.
Now that's going to put asses in the seats.
Now I think Cassius just debuted in NXT UK, didn't he? A couple weeks ago.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did. He debuted in NXT UK.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I know Matt Riddle sent him away.
Yeah, that's where he went. He went to UK. Yeah.
Thank you, God, for that one. I'm going to go lofty here for mine to wrap it up, and I think Bianca's going to go up here over the next couple of weeks, if not after. I don't really think you can do much with her right now. She's just going to get pushed down because she's had her shots now. And, it's not always a bad thing to go up to the big show, even when you need some seasoning. She's going to be around some of the best in the business that can help her out on a consistent basis.
I'd pair her up with Naomi.
I would put her on a Charlotte all day long, a Charlotte Flair, where they tell him she's glued to her hip and doing things. Charlotte can play a heel like nobody else, man, and can show anybody how to play a character. Pair her up with a Charlotte Flair, and the sky's the limit for her, man. Charlotte's probably the most complete women's wrestler out there, and in my opinion, hands down, probably the most complete woman out there. No matter if people like her or not, they want Becky to win. Charlotte's phenomenal, man. She really is. And then I think the Undisputed Era is going to go up. I think they're going to be your major surprise on Monday or SmackDown. They're going to kind of do it like it's the big thing like every year they do with a couple of big names or people. I think the Undisputed Era is going to come out and they're going to run over, some people and kind of raid the show. So those are mine, I think, that are definites that I could see.
I love the Undisputed Era. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, they're going to go feud with the War Raiders again. I mean,
Shayna is going up too, even with the belt. I think when Ronda leaves after WrestleMania, if she loses, they need a real dominant force up there then to compete against it. And I think Shayna and the Horsemen, or the Horsewomen, whatever they call themselves, are going up to defend their friend's honor, or whatever the hell they're looking
at.
Yeah,
that was my prediction or ideal prediction with like the day after the Raw after WrestleMania. Becky's supposedly, we'll say she's won the Raw and SmackDown title, and Ronda Rousey's ran away from WWE. Becky ran her out of the business, and then Shayna comes out and is wants to avenge for Ronda. What?
I gotta break this news to everybody here.
I'm like, what did I say? Something?
I'm sorry. Somebody just text messages me this thing and shoots it over to me from a tweet. So, man, this is like breaking hot news, and I'm not breaking the truce here. I'm just gonna say that I have to put this out there because it's that good. So, somebody just tweets me a screenshot from at Matt Coon Music, and he's right. Sammy is in New York City. Sammy Mania. Jesus Christ. I can't make this shit up right here, man. Okay? I cannot make this up. Sorry, that had to be my closer for the breaking news.
I think the funniest part about that is that Sammy put that on Instagram 3 days ago, and he's just now mentioning that.
Oh, Jesus. This fucking guy, man. He's just... I can't wait till the grapplers get a hold of this. I'm sorry. Sorry,
I'll stay out of that one. That's pretty funny.
Khabib's wife there.
Oh God, don't even.
Rad Turtles Wrestling does not endorse these comments at all.
Jeff Miller has officially been terminated from Wrestling with Reality.
We wish you best of luck in your future endeavors, Jeff.
Yes, right. Well, all I know is that I can sleep tightly tonight knowing that Sami Zayn is coming and that Sami fucking Mania is going on. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
And I think you have heat with me now after saying Charlotte is the most complete woman in the WWE.
Oh, boy.
Lexi. She's the most complete woman. Charlotte may be the most complete wrestler, but Lexi is the most complete.
He's got a good point. He's got a really good point
here. And don't worry, Matthew. If I got heat with you, I apologize. I have heat with a lot of people these days, man.
Yeah, so,
I think Mandy Rose is a complete
nuclear heat.
I really nothing. I could give a shit.
I would take Mandy over Alexa. And I've loved Alexa for a while, but oh my God, Mandy.
All right, you have heat with me now.
Take everybody out of the equation here, man. WrestleMania 35 main event, big things happening, surprises. Shit, no, man. There's nothing. I'm not looking forward to anything. I'm looking forward to Sami Mania running wild.
Sami Mania, love it.
El Generico.
El Generico, yeah, bring back under the mask, man.
Yeah, probably.
You know, bring back under the mask.
Be like, who the fuck is this guy?
I could just picture that, man. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I digress. I had to bring that out.
There's the towel on your head.
I literally
who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, who the fuck is this guy, man? Literally, somebody sends me that. I think, you know, because they know that I would probably say it here, man. They just texted it to me live, so you know, I think they do. That would pop me, man. All right, guys. So this was a fun ride, man. Thank you, everybody, for coming on tonight. Always love talking with all you guys. Man, let's everybody plug their social media. Anything you got going on? We got still a busy weekend left to go. This will be airing first thing in the morning on Saturday on the podcast for anybody that didn't catch it live. So always check out our YouTube stream for WWR Podcast and follow us on Twitter at WWR Podcast. Email me, wwrpodcast.com@gmail.com, or check out the Reality Check Podcast Network right on Instagram there. So, Blake, what do you got, buddy?
Man, you guys can follow me on Twitter at effing for real. Also now have a Twitch gaming channel up as well. You can, finally it happened. So you can search me on twitch.tv/effing for real MMA. We also have a email account for our show, mine and Jeff's show, effing for real. It's effingforreal@yahoo.com. So any questions, comments, anything you want to send to us, do that. And be sure to check out our show. We're going to have a big show next week, breaking down the Poirier and Holloway fight, as well as the Gastelum Adesanya fight. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then we will do a live breakdown of the fight Saturday night during the fight. So be sure to check that out, guys. And thanks for listening.
Awesome, man. Matthew, what do you got, buddy? Anything you want to plug, my friend?
My Twitter's at MMAC27. I'm also going to plug quick at the end of the month on the 27th of April. They're having a Water City WrestleCon in Menominee, Wisconsin. My friend Tyler is going to have his first ever match in their Battle Royal. So that should be a lot of fun. A lot of cool wrestling stars are going to be there, like Francine, Shane Douglas, Mark Henry, Johnny Impact is going to be there, and a couple other people as well. So it should be an awesome show. I'm looking forward to it. April 27th. If you're in the Wisconsin area, check it out.
Rob, what do you got, buddy? What do you want to hit up on there, man? What do you got for social media?
You can follow me on Twitter at RadRobGaming. You can follow our show at RadTurtlesPod. If you want to email our show, the Rad Turtles Wrestling Podcast, our email address is at radturtleswrestling@gmail.com. And I also am a Twitch gaming streamer. You can follow me on twitch.tv/RadRobGaming. I have a YouTube channel, RadRobGaming. What else do I have? I got an Instagram. I'm barely on. This is day 6 of Radmania. So tomorrow we'll cap off day 7, the end of the crazy whirlwind week that we hope to do every year from now on. Day 7 is going to be our teaming up with Wrestling with Reality for the WrestleMania 35 pre-show. on YouTube Live. It will be on the launch of our YouTube channel, which is Rad Turtles Wrestling. So you guys just subscribe to that, and we'll tweet out the link before the show. That'll be 11 o'clock Eastern time, breaking down everything that's going on, giving our predictions for all the matches for WrestleMania 35. And then immediately following the event, we will have the WrestleMania 35 post-game wrap-up show. And I'm excited that it's actually going to feature Anthony Katina, the Six Tool product, one of the hottest indie wrestlers going right now.
Mm-hmm.
And,
the one and only Six Tool product.
The one and only Six Tool product, that's right. So we're gonna.
One and only.
I didn't say that.
Right? No, yeah, exactly. So we're gonna break down the entire card after the show. Probably about 2 o'clock in the morning is when we get started. So I'm super excited for that. You guys in England, it'll probably be like 8 o'clock in the morning when we go on. So
we'll be having their tea and crumpets when they wake up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can start your morning with Wrestling Reality in Rad Turtles Wrestling Podcast. But that's all I got.
I really lost my England fan base now to this asshole.
Yeah, right.
Seriously.
But it's been a great week. Rad Mania has been a success. I want to thank your help, John, for putting everything together. And it was Jeff Johnson's idea, and I brainstormed all the shows. So, I'm excited. It was a great week. I can't wait to do this again next year. Hopefully, we'll be at WrestleMania next year. Yeah,
that's what we're planning next year. We want to get everybody out there if we can all afford it. And let everybody know, man, anybody wants to come out, we're going to have some fun. And, maybe we'll make a big go out of it, like a convention or something next year. We'll see how it goes and how much everything takes off, man. So it's going to be fun, man. And the live streams are a go now. They're going on YouTube. And I'm just finishing up my Twitch stuff, too. So I hope to be loaded up for us on Twitch. And we're all going to start streaming more on Twitch when we're doing our shows and different things for the fans and everybody, the listeners out there. And it's definitely coming over the next couple of weeks. Everybody's, I think, signed up right now for their Twitch streams and ready to go, and it's going to be a lot of fun when we get interactive. I've never been on Twitch for games. I want to put a plug over here. I'm not a gamer. I never really have been. So yeah, I know. I think I'm probably the only one in here that is. I know you guys are all big gamers in here, and then I just never was. So Rob invited me to his the other night, and I was like, "What are you playing?" And it was Mario. I saw. And I was like, "Holy shit!" I was actually glued to it. I almost wanted to watch him more than I wanted to watch what was on TV. Because I was like thinking to myself, I was like, man, I need some extra cash lying around here. I got to go get a Wii U and be streaming with these guys, man. It looks like fun. It's really great to stream for these guys. Wii U?
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Whatever the hell it's called. I don't fucking know.
Was it at the Switch?
Yeah. Fuck is this a Switch?
Well, the Wii U is like an older console. The newest one is the Nintendo Switch. See, I'm showing my nerd side.
John's actually right, because Mario Maker's only on the Wii U right now until Mario Maker 2 comes out in June.
That's right. That's right. Suck it, Jeff.
Motherfucker.
Trying to flex those nerd muscles, and he can't even do it right.
Jesus, man. I got to bring in my your inside gamer here. But no, man, it's really cool, the Twitch streams that I know I've seen with Rob and Jeff doing. And like they got nice followings over there. They do some cool shit, man. So check out their Twitch streams. Thanks. And then we'll all be loaded up going interactive here soon. And, that's it for tonight, guys. We'll have this put out first thing Saturday morning. I know you are the real gem _5 for Mr. Miller over here. Since he wants to bust my ass here, I'm going to have to mute his mic in the near future. Just joking. But make sure you go and follow everybody out here, man. We got everybody that really bust their ass to put in a good product for you. And when this drops Saturday morning, make sure you guys also check out the Rad Turtles show that's going to be out with the Brothers Grappler, and they break down the WrestleMania moments. That'll be out Saturday morning. Actually, it's already posted now because it's 12:30 Saturday. So that's already out now for anybody that's listening to it. It's already ready to go. It's a really funny show. I've watched about half of it already because I'm lucky enough to get the pre-cuts to everything from everybody since I put them out. And it's really fun, man. So check out that show. It gets you in the right tempo for WrestleMania. And then we'll have this podcast that everybody's going to be listening to out, sometime in the early part of Saturday morning. And it will also be simulcasted on the Rad Turtles wrestling stream for when they post it for the podcast, when they put it out for them, as well as the post and the pre and post shows that the Rad Turtles are putting on. We're going to double stream it on WWR so everybody can see it. We can get new audience members, and welcome to all the new audience members, on for the Reality Check Podcast Network shows. We're very grateful for all you guys do. And this last week, I think we had our 36th country that we're already in here. And everybody's pretty much set for a record week this week for themselves and their shows. And, it's a testament and great ideas, Mr. Johnson and Mr.
The world.
Yeah, we're changing the world over here, man. AEW coined my freeze, man.
That's right.
You know, I got a lawsuit going against fucking Tony Khan and all those guys over there now. They stole my concept, those assholes. But maybe if they let me go to Double or Nothing, maybe I will take my lawsuit, and throw it out the window there. But we got a lot of fun stuff going on. So check out everybody's shows, guys. Thanks for joining us today and all week long here.
Thanks for having me again, by the way.
Yeah, let the turtle plug his stuff.
Oh, Jesus, forgot about. No, he did, didn't he?
I didn't.
Really? Not my bad, dude.
That's the first one I got, man.
Jesus,
I'm
you
sorry.
muted me.
Well, see, normally on
Yeah.
our show, I plug first and Rob plugs second. So
True,
when Rob plugged, I didn't even think about it. No.
Everybody's bouncing around my screen where I see all their faces, so I'm like trying to keep up with it. It's like checkers,
And I'm
you know.
Right.
I got you covered, Turtles.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it.
No problem.
What you got,
So
Turtle?
you guys can hear me every Tuesday and Thursday on the Rad Turtles Wrestling Podcast, and also every Saturday and Sunday on the Effing For Real MMA Podcast, right here on the Reality Check Podcast Network. You can also follow me on Twitter at Run With Turtles. I have my Twitch gaming channel, which is twitch.tv/Run With Turtles, and I have a very active YouTube page as well. Just search for Run With Turtles, and it's the first name that comes up.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And thank you again, everybody, for coming on the stream tonight. I know everybody worked hard all week long and was busting their hump and are tired and enjoyed the show tonight. But we really appreciate everybody coming on with us and anybody that came in onto the group chat. Just keep spreading the word, man. And appreciate all you guys. It was a blast tonight, as always. And we will see everybody back again later on today and on Sunday, all weekend long, still on Wrestling with Reality and the Rad Turtles Wrestling Podcast and Effing For Real, where the F stands for fighting. And those are the words that I'm throwing out there to close this out here, man. Thanks, guys.
Johnny Wrestling.
I'm Johnny Podcast.
Thanks again for listening to the Rad Turtles Wrestling Podcast. Once again, you can follow us on Twitter. We are at RadTurtlesPod. And you can email the show and we will read it on air. Our email address is radturtleswrestling@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate all of your support. You have been listening to the Rad Turtles Wrestling Podcast, only here on the Reality Check Podcast Network.